Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something, well, a little uncomfortable. It's the surprising science behind working with background noise. And it turns out that focus playlist you love, or that TV show you always have on, yeah, it might be doing the exact opposite of what you think. It might actually be sabotaging you.
So let's just jump right in with a question that sounds kinda crazy. I mean, it breaks pretty much every productivity rule we've ever been taught. Is it possible that a massive distraction, like a television show, could actually be the secret to getting more work done? Well, the answer, it's a bit of a trap.
You know, this whole idea comes from a real story. Picture this. Someone is staring down a super difficult project, right? The kind you just dread. Out of habit, they flick on a TV show and suddenly, bam! Hours of work just fly by. They felt incredible, like they'd finally smashed through a wall. But here's the catch. That amazing feeling, it was basically a mirage, hiding a much, much bigger problem.
Okay, so what on earth is going on here? How can adding a distraction make you feel so focused? It makes no sense. Well, this is what we're calling the productivity paradox. And to really get it, we need to peek under the hood and see what was really happening inside the brain during that so-called productive session.
So here's the play-by-play. The project wasn't just tedious, it was mentally painful. It required big strategic decisions. And on a second screen, the TV show Dr. House is playing. And for an hour and a half, the work just flowed. It felt incredible. But, and this is the big but, when he looked back at the work later, he had the sinking realization. He hadn't actually solved any of the hard problems. He had just done all the easy stuff, the busy work, and completely danced around the tough decisions he was supposed to be making.
To figure out this whole mystery, we have to meet the two main characters inside your head. Seriously, think of them like two managers constantly fighting for control of your attention. And trust me, understanding these two is the key to unlocking this entire puzzle.
All right, so let's meet your brain's management team. That's pretty simple, really. First up, you've got the CEO. That's your frontal lobe. The CEO's job is all the hard stuff. Big picture strategy, making tough calls, tackling brand new problems. It's super powerful, but man, it burns through energy like crazy and gets exhausted really fast. And then you have the automaton. That's your cortex. Think of this as the factory floor. It just runs on autopilot, handling all the habits, the routines, the repetitive tasks. It's incredibly low energy, super efficient, and perfect for anything you can do in your sleep.
And here is the absolute kicker. This is so important. Your brain can only handle about 1 hour of that intense, high-effort CEO work per day. That's it, 1 hour. If you try to push it past that limit, you are on a fast track to anxiety and total burnout. So that CEO's time, it's not just valuable, it is incredibly scarce.
So that leads to a pretty obvious question, right? If the CEO is so important for actually making progress, why are we so good at avoiding it? Why do we run from that kind of work? Well, the answer is a simple, very powerful little chemical that your favorite TV show is practically injecting into your brain.
Okay, let's walk through the chain reaction here. You know the feeling? You're sitting in front of a hard task, you feel that wall of resistance go up. So what do? You press play on something. Instantly, your brain gets a little reward.
And that reward is a tiny, super easy hit of dopamine. That's the chemical that signals pleasure. It's your brain's way of saying, ooh, hey, I like this. This is good, let's do more of this.
And naturally, our brains are wired to chase what feels good. It's a survival thing, so it wants to keep that easy dopamine drip coming. But here's the conflict. That hard, draining CEO work, it offers zero immediate dopamine. It's all effort, no instant reward. So when you've got this easy pleasure source just sitting right there, your brain now has a super powerful reason to avoid the hard work. Why suffer when pleasure's just a click away?
And boom, there's the trap, laid out perfectly. Your brain just chills in the easy, low-effort, routine-loving automation mode. And the craziest part is, you feel productive. You're busy, right? You're checking things off a list, you're typing away, but it's all on autopilot. You are actively, chemically incentivized to avoid the real thinking required to make a breakthrough.
So this is the dopamine trap in a nutshell. It makes you feel good about avoiding the most important work.
You get all the satisfaction of being busy without any of the discomfort of actual difficult thinking. You're not focused, you're just pleasantly distracted from the decisions that truly matter.
Okay, so we get the trap. It's sneaky, it's powerful. The question is, how do we get out of it? The answer isn't to just, go live in a silent cave and banish all distractions. It's about being way more strategic. And we're going to do that with a really simple but powerful technique called the two-mode method.
The whole idea here is about sequencing your work. First, you carve out a protected, sacred block of time for CEO mode. That means zero distractions, no phone, no music, nothing, just you and the problem. And yeah, it's gonna feel hard. It might even feel a little painful, but this is where you make the actual decisions. Then, and only then, once the decisions are made, you switch gears into automaton mode. This is execution time, and now is when you can strategically deploy your distractions. Put on the music, turn on the show, and use it to make the boring work more pleasant and just power through it.
All right, let's make this super practical. Seeing this method in action is what really makes the whole thing click.
Take studying math, for example. This is perfect. Let's say you have to crank through 500 problems on a topic you already know pretty well. That's pure automaton work. So yeah, put on your music, get in the zone, and fly through them. But then you see you got 15 of them wrong. Figuring out why you got them wrong, well, that is not an automaton task. That is deep, diagnostic, CEO mode thinking. For those 15 problems, you've got to turn everything off. Total silence. That's the only way to analyze your mistakes and actually learn.
And this leads to an ideal way to structure your day. Think about it. Most of your time, maybe 90%, should be spent in that efficient automaton execution mode. And that precious, high-energy 10% of CEO time, you have to guard that. Reserve it like a superpower for only the most critical decisions that are going to unlock everything else.
And really, that is the big takeaway here. Real, sustainable productivity isn't about grinding harder or putting in more hours. It's about being smarter with your limited energy. It's about creating a clean, clear separation between the act of deciding and the act of doing. Make your big decisions in focused silence, then execute the plan with your favorite soundtrack on.
So, as we wrap this explainer up, I want to leave you with one final thought. The next time you reach for your headphones or turn on a show to get in the zone, pause for a second and ask yourself, am I using this to execute or am I using this to hide? What important, difficult, game-changing decision might I be avoiding?